All right. Now we are all set. Let's move on to the slides. Next slides. So this is our second community engagement, but you might have missed the first engagement we had back in August, or you might have forgot about this project. So I like to start with the introduction of our project team and scope, and then we'll do the summary of how the first engagement was. And the highlight of this meeting, preferred concept design reveal will be the next. And then we'll give you some information about the online survey and finish this meeting with any Q&As you might have. So, hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Milan. I'm an associate project manager for this project. And Craig Coronado in this meeting is a design construction supervisor. And Kiara, who's helping us for the Zoom meeting, is a community engagement associate.
Hi, yeah. I'm Carrie Liljegren. I'm landscape architect, associate principal here at Stream Landscape Architecture. We are the consultants that have been hired by DPR to do the design drawings and construction documents and oversee construction for this park renovation.
And hi, I'm Caitlin Burnell, also with Stream Landscape Architecture and a project management manager on this team.
Awesome. So we are the team, and to talk about more about this project, next slide. Yeah, so this project will be focusing on the northern half of 51st and Zuni Park, specifically picnic area, playground, and basketball court. We'll be improving those three areas, and for basketball courts improvement, we will be relocating it to closer to the Vallejo Street for the safety of the use and accessibility. As part of this project, we are partnering with DOTI, Department of Transportation and Infrastructure. They have a sidewalk gap project, so we'll be installing 50 sidewalks along 52nd. And then the next, about the project budget and schedule. This project is about $1.5 million total budget, including design and construction. 1,000 of the budget is coming from Elevate Bond for improving the court. So you will see that improvement for sure with and also remaining of it is coming from DPR's capital improvement. And again, like I said earlier, the DOTI sidewalk gap project funding. In terms of schedule, this project will be designing up to next summer, 2025. And then the construction will start in fall of 25 and then finish it by summer of 2026.
Great. Thanks, Elizabeth, for those project, just kind of main facts about the project. And for those folks that are on this call that weren't part of the first meeting, I'll just do a quick summary of the engagement that's occurred so far and where we're headed. So this renovation, we were set to do 2 public engagement events or meetings. The first one occurred in August, as Elizabeth mentioned, that was on site. It's always great to do public engagement events on site because people really start to envision the improvements that are going to happen and just getting people talking. It solicited a lot of great feedback. In addition to the people that we spoke with at the event, which was the movie in the park, if you were there, and that was put on by Councilwoman Sandoval. In addition to the feedback we got at the event, there was also an online survey which corresponded with the same questions we were asking at the event. And then we were able to, over a period of a couple weeks of the online survey, then pull all the responses together. And so we were happy to have received 170 total respondents. And we found that a lot of people that we met on the site lived in the neighborhood, and a lot of them have lived there a long time. So it was great to speak with them. Next. And just a general note, I'm just going to run through very quickly what we heard from that first engagement meeting. Just a general note about how decisions get made about what park amenities are going to get built and what aren't. There are a lot of factors that go into it, and getting your valuable public input is one of them. But just letting you know, there's also things like the budget and city standards and maintenance considerations as well. So just wanted to let you know that. And this is quickly here, just kind of a summary of the park amenities that we were asking about. Because as Elizabeth showed you on the plan, the improvement areas for this renovation were fairly well set in terms of relocating basketball, improving the picnic area, and renovating the playground. So within those improvement areas, we really kind of wanted to get people's input on some specific preferences for the design within those spaces. So the first one being basketball court. We wanted to know, would a standard court be suitable? A ground mural. We noticed that the court that's out there now, that efforts were made to do a ground mural. Would we want to do that? And then also just multi-use. There are other court sports other than basketball that can be accommodated on the same court. And so we put that out there and found that, as you can see, multi-use was preferred. So we're probably going to be moving ahead with that, and we'll be showing you where the design is headed now, but that was that one. And next, for the picnic area, we knew we needed to improve the picnic area, provide greater accessibility, improve furnishings, but really kind of wanted to find out, okay, what kind of seating, large groups, small groups. And so we put forth in the two concepts that were put forth, one that accommodated more larger groups and one that accommodated multiple smaller groups. And the seating associated with that, is it large picnic tables or is it small informal seating? And that's some valuable information we wanted to get from the public. And then within the play area, not so much jumping right into what play equipment do you want. It was more about activities. What does the community want to see in the playground that will facilitate these activities? And of course, as we all know, sliding, swinging, and climbing, which were the top three, are very common and just very much preferred by this community group as well as many others. Those are very popular. But we also kind of wanted to pull out any specific desire there might be for some of these other specialty features like balancing, vertical panel games, and imagination play. So this helped us in moving forward with the concepts we'll show you in a little bit. Next. And then also the play character is also important. It's not just about what are the activities, but what is the look and feel of the playground? What are the materials? And so we put forth three kind of themes, if you will, to kind of get a sense of, how do they want this playground and the design of it to kind of reflect the neighborhood. So nature inspired was the most popular among the three, and the three being nature inspired, hillside play, which kind of takes advantage of a little embankment that we have with the topography of our site. And then maybe a more modern or geometric type inspired play. So we have taken this input, and if you go to the next one, I will just show you what the two concepts were that was presented at the last round. Concept A, for the picnic area, this was the one that was focused on larger groups. And so you see multiple tables and then a seat wall. So a couple seating options, but mainly it's one large space. Within the play area, it was emphasizing planters with adding more shade in those zones, keeping the existing play boundaries, but then perhaps adding a third. And then at the basketball court, we were looking at how it can be situated parallel to Vallejo Street, and also providing a small retaining wall, which what we call a seat wall. So it's flexible seating along that length for those that want to watch the basketball. And we'll go to the next one, concept B. So in concept B, at the picnic area, we were focused a bit more on breaking up the seating areas into a couple zones with variety of seating. So some are your more standard picnic tables, and some might be more flexible seating or lounge type seating. This is a great viewing spot of the skyline, and just a place within the park that I think gravitates, that people are gravitated to because it's the high point with the views. And so we wanted to take advantage of that. And so what you're seeing there is those pink bands are concrete terracing. And that's just wide 2 steps, but it's just a nice spot for people to sit at that high point and be oriented towards the view. It also is a little bit separated from those that might be at the picnic tables nearby. And then in the play area, we kept the 2 existing play nodes or play areas. This concept includes what we call a wavy walk, or like a scooter loop. Some of you might be familiar with those, and it's an uneven surface on purpose, so that in a little loop that's off the main path, so that kids on little bikes and scooters can do little circuits. And then on this concept, the basketball is in a similar location, but it's a bit closer to Vallejo Street. It doesn't have the seat wall. And then on this last slide, which is a quick comparison, you'll see in the pie graph there's a fairly even split between option A and option B, which is fine. When we do these concepts and present them to the public, the goal is really never for the public to say, we want this one over that one. We're really asking why and what specifically do you like, because we want to proceed with a design that is a composite or a best of, if you will, of both. And so is there one more? I didn't know if there was a summary slide, but in general, we heard that that in the picnic area, they want more flexibility in terms of multiple areas for seating, and that we want to proceed with perhaps looking at the wavy walk feature, and Caitlin will talk more about that. And then for the basketball, the concept with it further away from Vallejo was definitely preferred, because just for safety reasons, with the balls, we wouldn't want it getting into the street readily. And just general park buffer between the basketball uses and the residences on the east side of Vallejo. So, and then the next slide. Yeah,
Thanks,
and
Carrie.
so I'll turn it over to Caitlin. She's going to talk a bit more about what we took from those concepts and how it's moved forward into the new design. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, Carrie. Yeah, as Carrie mentioned, we kind of came to the last public meeting with 2 options, and we've since then merged the 2. So I'll kind of walk through the different scope areas, very similar to the last public meeting, but wanted to mention that the new sidewalk along 52nd is pretty heavily dictated by not impeding on the existing trees, as well as meeting city requirements for a city sidewalk. And so there aren't a lot of options to show here, but as we move into the picnic area, playground, and multi-use basketball court, we'll be able to dive a little deeper. And so first we'll start with the picnic area. Just to remind people, this is the picnic area up in the northwest corner of the site. It is also the high point of the site where we have these amazing views to the city. Today, that site is very much a lot of open turf lawn with a few mature trees, and then a couple of traditional or Denver standard picnic tables. So as Carrie mentioned, a lot of what we heard from the public in this area is that they wanted a lot of different seating options. Those seating options to accommodate both individuals, small groups, and sometimes large groups. And so we've introduced or kept from previous concepts the lookout terrace, which is seen on the south side of the walk, a couple of options for the lounge seating, something a little bit more flexible, and then as well as 4 new picnic tables. We also see this area as kind of an opportunity to do some turf conversion and introduce more Colorado native plantings and seed in this area. And so you'll see that's kind of in this island between the existing walkways and our proposed new walkway. So that will provide a nice colorful backdrop to a lot of these picnic areas. Moving into the playground area, this is centrally located within the improvement areas, but it is north of the existing ball field. So I just want to clarify that the ball field will remain in place. We're looking at where the existing playground is today and keeping a lot of that infrastructure. And so as we kind of dive in, again, a lot of what we heard is introducing more places for people to sit, especially around the playgrounds. So we're showing these lounge seatings that we showed again or previously in the picnic area, as well as some picnic tables. As Carrie mentioned, nature-inspired play was desired. And so although that will of course be in the play equipment, there are also bringing natural elements into the overall playground area that will really encourage that feeling of nature play. And then, of course, to make those seating areas comfortable in the Colorado sun, we're proposing a few more trees as well as preserving a lot of the existing trees. So we'll dive into a little bit more of the information that's happening in this play area, and as well as ask a couple of polling questions. But I do want to clarify that we are preserving the existing play areas. And so that's a reason to reduce kind of the costs associated to the infrastructure of the playground and really allocate that budget and the money to the play equipment pieces themselves. And so we'll start with the first play equipment, which we're calling the main play structure. We really envision this kind of being in the lower southern play area. The image to the right is what's out there today. And as I mentioned, that will no longer be there and we'll be replacing the play equipment. So we have a couple different options for the main play structure. The first one is climbing focus. This would be a concrete structure that would then be sculpted to look a little bit more natural, either as a rock or even a wood log. It also has these rope netting features that encourage more opportunity to climb. A note on this feature or this structure is that we would really rely on adding other smaller elements or separate elements, such as an embankment slide, to add more play value to the play equipment. The second option for the main structure is looking at something a little bit more traditional. This has a lot of play value within the structure itself, but it does tend to lean a little away from the nature play theming. And so there is some things we can do to change the color of the post and slides to be a little bit more in the natural color palette, but we would then be relying on other features to encourage more of that nature play. So with those two options, we're going to open it up to our first polling question, and it is simply asking, which play structure do you prefer? I'll give it a second for people to answer. And Kira, let me know how those are coming in.
Yep, looks like we have 7 people that have responded, so maybe we can wrap it up soon.
Okay, great. And just to clarify, a lot of these polling questions too, we've included in our survey in a similar format. And so we'll be encouraging people to take the survey or share the survey outside of this meeting. So the second piece of equipment would be the play swings. We see this being in the same area as they are today, but again, the infrastructure and the play area would remain the same, but the structure and play equipment would change. And so there are a few options for the play. You have your traditional belt swings, you have the bucket swings that are more geared towards younger groups or toddlers. You have ADA friendly swings, so more inclusive elements, and then as well as the basket swings that, as you can see in the image, hold a lot of kids. So we're asking you to choose two because we do see, you know, the final plan showing more than just one type of swing. And so we'd love to see your preference.
And do we want to share the poll result of this at this time?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
Tell me when to close this one and I can share the results for this one, and then I can tell you what we received for the last one as well.
Perfect.
So 8 responses. Let me know if you want to close it soon.
Yeah, I think other than the project team members, there are 9 people. So I think we can close in now.
Perfect.
Yeah, so looks like we have inclusive swing and basket swing is total the highest, and then the second level is belt swing.
Great. And then do you want to show the last polling results?
Yeah,
Yeah, looks
Kara.
like I cannot share them now that it's closed, but I can tell you that 6 out of 7 people voted for the climb focus structure. And
Great.
1 person voted for the traditional.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. So moving into additional play features. So these are other play equipment that is maybe smaller in scale and would be sprinkled throughout both play areas as well as the embankment in between the two. So we're going to enhance the connection between these by adding more of those play features. And so we are showing options such as a wobble board, embankment slides with stone boulders on both sides, seesaws, spinners, embankment ropes and climbers, a climbing boulder that would of course be smaller than the main structure, and then an option for stack blocks. And so again, we're asking for you to select top 3, and that way we can include a variety or understand people's preferences as we select multiple play features for the final plan.
This one's trickling in a bit slowly, so we still have a few more people that can vote.
That's okay, there are a lot of options, so.
Yes. Awesome. We're at 7 people now and 8. So I will go ahead and close it and share the results.
Great. So seeing a lot for embankment slide and stack climbers, and then also using the embankment for ropes and climbers. I think that is telling to the site because of how much grade there is out there. Great. And then into our fourth poll question, we wanted to highlight, so those were the options for the play equipment itself. So the pieces that are gonna require play surfacing. Of course, we know that in playgrounds, there are a lot of ways to enhance play or have more options for play that don't require surfacing and are more geared to playful elements. So we've created and designed a seating node just east of the existing play areas that could host some of these playful elements. So those could be chalkboards, mini tables and chairs. It could be even the detail within the concrete or stonework that is more telling a story or playing with a children's book, or it could even be the group seating boulders that encourage some sort of informal classroom or theater type play. So again, we see there could be an option for multiple of these in the final design, and we're asking to select two. Great. So seeing that a majority for mini tables and chairs and group seating boulders. Great. And then moving into the last polling question. This may look familiar to some people who were a part of the first engagement, as we asked kind of additional play area versus wavy walk. We did get a lot of response that was pretty split. And so we're asking it again, maybe with a little bit more detail. And so this would be north of the existing play area, taking a portion of where that existing basketball court is today. As we're moving the basketball court to the eastern side of the park, it allows for a little bit more room to expand the play. And so this zip line is a play equipment feature, so it would require play surfacing. And then the wavy walk, as we've showed previously, is kind of a undulating concrete pour that could be laid into the open grass. And so here we're just asking for a direct preference of the zip line or wavy walk. Wavy walk. Okay. That's a little less split than last time, so that's promising. We might have a direction. Okay. And then moving into the basketball court. So the preference we saw from the community from the first public engagement was, I believe, concept A, where the basketball court was slightly further away from Vallejo Street, as well as the preference for the seating wall that is directly associated with the court. We also did hear a lot of feedback of, the concerns of balls rolling down the steep grade of Vallejo in the park. And so we've included some thought behind that. So we're keeping the concrete seat wall. We're introducing a planted berm to kind of, as we excavate some of the landscape or existing landscape to flatten out the basketball court, we'll have a little additional grade that we could use to berm up behind the court. So if you know the grades of the site, as the park is moving further south, that's where the grade starts to drop. And so that's why we've showed a berm kind of on the south side of the court. We've also retained a 45-foot buffer from Vallejo and are trying to keeping the mature existing trees. We heard, as Carrie mentioned, that the multi-use court, including things like foursquare or volleyball, would only enhance the use of the basketball court. And so we're showing those options. And then we're also introducing a seating node in this area where we are using both the lounge kind of seating benches that we've used in both the playground and the picnic area, as well as an opportunity to maybe show a more sculptural, informal seating that could be interesting to the younger generations. Okay, and so before we open it up for Q&A, I just want to point everyone to the survey again. It is now open and will be open until November 11th. We have the QR code here and we'll copy the link into the chat. Share it with your friends and neighbors. And then obviously a lot of these questions were geared to the playground. And so if you have children and want to take the survey with them, we highly encourage that because we'd love to hear from the younger kids. Elizabeth, anything you want to add to this slide before we open it up to Q&A?
Yeah, and I also like to recognize, oh, thanks, Kara, for inserting the website address for going to the survey. You can just click on that link in the chat, and then you can share that web page with your friends and families. Yes, and so, for the peoples who couldn't make it to this meeting at this time live, so in this meeting is being recorded, so you can share this recording with your friends and families afterwards. You can find this video recordings on DPR's YouTube channel. So check that out and share this with your families and friends and get make them. And oh, also, like we highly recommend you to take the survey with your kids, so that their preferences can be reflected into the playground they will be playing at. And any other comments that or questions you might think of later, there will be a section in the survey that you can leave comments. So please check it out and let us know if you have any other questions. Oh, and sorry, lastly, I'd like to recognize the Councilwoman Sandoval. She couldn't make it here today, but I know she is in a really big supporter of this project. So yeah, I'd like to thank her, and her assistant, Alessandra, is here.
Hi, thank
you
you
like
for
to?
having
Yeah.
such a great meeting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Thank you for being here on behalf of her. And yeah, we'll let you know if we have any other questions. And yeah, so now we'll be open for any questions you might have. Feel free to unmute your mic and then, or insert your questions into the chat. Oh, and the survey is open until November 10th. So yeah, and also there will be a QR code available in the park, so you can go out and scan the QR code as well. If there's no any other questions, I guess well, thank you so much everyone for joining and coming into this virtual meeting. Um, Again, don't be shy for asking any questions you might have later. Just let me know. You can find this information on our website too. So yeah, thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Tricia.
Thank you. I'll be ending the meeting now. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
again.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. Bye.